All right, folks. So, we're looks like we're live now. At least I think we're live. Let me know in the chat if you need me to modify the audio settings. This is like my first time doing the stream live like this, so the audio might be a little quiet. I have my microphone kind of in a safe spot so I don't end up I don't know, popping solder onto it or anything else that might be ridiculous that could possibly happen. So just sit tight for a minute. I'm finishing brewing up some coffee for myself, so I just got to go check on that to make sure that it is not like spilling over everywhere else. So be right back. All right, we are back, got coffee in hand. So I see that, Mange. So you're saying that looks like the bit rate's a bit off. Let me see if I can up that a bit. It's probably just because I'm not really sure how much I really wanted to push that bit rate. Because I'm doing this from like Wi-Fi, unfortunately, because my studio doesn't have a oh, my gain's high. Okay, so let me turn that down a bit. It's gonna be weird because the gain might be high for when I'm talking directly to y'all, because the microphone is like right here, but when I stand back it's a little bit odd. You only hear background noise? You're not hearing any chat? So let me see here. Maybe I can move the microphone to a better spot. It's right next to my computer right now, to make sure that it catches some good audio. So one moment. All right, so I moved the microphone away from the PC, so now you shouldn't be hearing the PC fan anymore. It could become a problem when I do set up the actual fan itself. How's it looking? How's it sounding? You guys sounding better? Let me know. I hope it sounds better now. Awesome. Okay, good. So yeah, it was positioned right next to the PC. I'm just using my Mac laptop, so the fans were probably driving it nuts. Okay, good. So we're kind of set up here. You can see we have this overhead cam just viewing down on my desk. It's kind of not a very great camera. I'm using my FaceTime camera so I can see you guys and you can see me. And then down here in the corner, this is my action cam that I've got viewed down here. And we have a couple other setups so we can do stuff. I don't have a cool like hot swap camera thing like Pete does where he can let you guys look at different views individually. If there's something you want to see action shots or whatever, just let me know in chat. So what we got going on today, we got, by the way, I'm typing on my Preonic keyboard here with, this is the MT3 setup, or the MT3 keycaps that I got recently from Mass Drop. Man, these things are awesome. I gotta say that these are probably some of the best keycaps I've ever used. Not only are they really high quality PBT, but the sculpting on them is fantastic. I mean, they do have some issues with the legends, just like everybody's complaining about. But honestly, I mean, you don't really look at the legends that much if you're typing. If you're looking at the legends and you're typing, then you're not typing. You're looking at legends, if you ask me. I do look at them occasionally because I touch type for the most part, but when it comes to some things, sometimes I just get lost. And so I use them. But I freaking love these keys, though. They're just so nice. Yeah, it's just like 100% butter typing on these. I love it. And actually, I ended up buying way more sets than I have available, or than I needed, because back, a year and a half ago when we first started signing up for them, I thought I was using standard size keyboards. So I got a bunch of extra keycaps. I ended up having a full set. I have a full set here. So those are your alphas, and then a full set of, gotta get these so you guys can see them. Full set of mods. So I gotta figure out like what I'm gonna do with these. I thought about selling them on Mech Market because they're actually going for a pretty decent amount. I'm not trying to flip them for money though. I really just want people to have a cool set, and I definitely don't need them. One set is enough for me. So thinking about what I'm gonna do with these. They might appear in a giveaway. Not sure. Maybe. However, speaking of giveaways, the giveaway did conclude a little while ago, but I still haven't shipped it out because I ended up collapsing all of my spare boxes that I had. And so once I did that, I have no boxes to ship anything that are like decent sized boxes. So the man who won it, he lives in, I believe, Jacksonville, Florida. So I've communicated with him. He's going to get the keyboard, but this is the one that he won. This is the, he's not getting the keycaps though, but this is the Sticker Bomb TKL. And man, this thing is a great keyboard. But I don't use this style of keyboard anymore. I don't use TKLs. I use ortholinears. So, which brings me to my next point. Probably going to be doing another giveaway for this guy. So this is my hand-dyed keycaps. And this is a Satan GH60 Satan PCB with the hand-dyed keycaps. So I'll show you better view. Let's go to Action Cam. So yeah, this is my hand-dyed keycaps that I did. And then with a hand-painted back plate. So this is what I'm actually thinking about giving away for my next giveaway. I'm not sure when that's going to be, just because there's a lot of stuff that I have to figure out for it. I mean, this took a lot of work, right? And it's kind of like my baby. So if I give this away, it has to be something super special. Here's another look at that black backplate if you want to see. And there's a video on YouTube on my channel that you can see where I actually painted this backplate, and you can see the time lapse of it. But yeah, it's a great board. My cat is furiously scratching at the door. He really wants in, and he's not getting in, unfortunately, because he is a jerk. Okay, so today we're going to be building the Easy on the Wallet Preonic. And that's this guy right here. So this is the back plate. It's got this cool design on it that some community member came up with. I love the design. I think it's pretty cool. Honestly, though, I really like that. I like the flat black that comes with it. And honestly, like, I'd much rather it just be a flat black, but you know, it's backplate, so whatever. It's got this awesome matte black PCB though. Like, it looks fantastic. You know, it's super high quality. I mean, as we, you know, come to expect. And then it's got the front plate here. I'm just going to go ahead and pop these switches off here real quick. So the front plate, you get the choice of doing it in like matte black, or you can use this like kind of semi-gold top. I haven't decided which one I'm going to use. I don't know if I'm going to go with the black one, or that shiny gold, because I'm actually going to put LEDs on this guy. So I think that doing with the LEDs is probably going to be better to use the gold, but honestly, I don't like gold that much. I find the gold color to be just a bit much. But anyway. Oh, hey, look, it's Mech Merlin. He's on. Hey, Mech. What's going on, buddy? Just building up a new keyboard here. So I put in some switches here just to test out the fit on them, but we're deciding now what switches to use. I haven't quite decided yet. So we got quite a few that we can choose from today. So I'm just going to put these away real quick. Let me go back to my main view. So, so here we got a couple different ones. I've got these guys here. These are my pale blues. I don't have enough to use these though. But yo, Disco Frog, welcome to the stream. So, yeah, pale blues don't have enough. I think I only have 30 of these guys. Then I have quite a few of these 65 gram Zelios. You know, obviously these are probably one of my favorite switches. I have them on most of my boards at this point. And then I've got the 78 gram Zelios. So actually, let's take a look. 65 grams. Got 100 of these guys. Plenty of them to do 60. You know, I only need 60 for the Preonic, so we're good with that. I just got the R9 Zelios. So these are the R9 67 gram Zelios, and they have a bit of a different feel to them. Obviously, they're just a tiny fraction heavier. That 2 grams doesn't really make much of a difference, but apparently this is a little bit different with the way that they did the stem. I think he said that the stem's a little crisper now than it used to be, and you can definitely feel there's a crispier feel to it. And I really like these guys. I haven't decided if I'm going to use these for this board or not, but the fact that they're just so, they have that really nice like click there, or that really nice like bump. I just love it. Crispy. Then I just bought 92 of the 78 gram Zelios from 1UP Keyboards. I believe these are either R7 or R8 Zelios. I don't know exactly. Probably R8. And again, these are, you know, the bump on these is about the same feeling as the 65 gram Zelios. It's very, very similar. It's just that you got a little bit heavier of a spring. So I'm not sure which one of those. And then we have the creme de la creme, the best switch I've probably ever used in my entire life. I freaking love these switches. These are the Kailua Box Navies, and boy, let me tell you, these switches are fantastic. I don't even know how to, like, I want to show you here so you can see it. They look great. They feel great. That click, I mean, you can't do it. So it's just, it's so good. But the problem is, this is going to be my travel board. So I'm taking this, I have a business trip that I'm going on to, I'm going to be gone for about 12 days or so. And so I have this business trip that I'm going on, and I need to bring this board with me. And if I build it with box navies, it's going to be so loud. Like, I have a feeling I'm going to make everybody on the airplane mad. I'm going to make my hotel mate mad. And then, you know, don't know if I'd really want to use it in business. Or, you know, in my business meetings. I mean, it'll get some attention, that's for sure. I got a bunch of old folks in there who freaking love it. But yeah, like, that click, I feel like it might be just a bit too much, but oh my gosh, it feels so good. Maybe what I'll do is I'll build this with box navies, and if I feel like after typing on it for the next week that it's too loud, I'll just take my Preonic with me, which is only slightly bigger anyway, so it's not like it's a huge issue if I take this one on the plane or this one in my trips. So I think maybe that's going to be the way to go, because then I get the best of both worlds. I'll be able to have this nice light Preonic with my box navies, and if I have to, I can always just type on my Mac keyboard, which is like not as good. Kind of sad. But so also for those of you who just tuned in, here's my studio. You'll notice this giant white box light that I've got above me for light. Don't get a lot of light in a garage studio. I built this wall back here. I built this specifically so I could do stuff to keep this heated, because it is cold right now in Washington. Cold and rainy, except for today. Today it's sunny. Painting I made. Love this painting. It's one of my favorite paintings. What does this say? Mange says, well, who cares? I use a Model M in class sometimes and people get used to it after a while. That's true. That is very true. People will get used to it. But this is a business meeting. I'm kind of like, don't want to lose a contract because I'm being annoying with my keyboard, right? That would be bad. Maybe. Okay, so box navies. I think the vote is box navies. So I think we're gonna go with box navies today. Nice thing about box navies is you don't have to clip any stabs. There are no stabs on these. This is a plate only switch, so that's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that. Looks like I got a message. Oh. Yep, a friend of mine wants to be in the stream, so just pardon me for 1 second while I send her that link. All right. So maybe we'll get someone else to join the stream here soon. Other than that, how's everybody's weekend going? Saturday, I had a pretty productive day. I actually went out and bought my action cam this morning, and then ended up getting one of those pet cams. So it's a pet cam with a laser, because I have 2 cats, and it's so nice. It's so nice. Euphorical saying, you are like a little baby. Oh, you're talking to Mange? That's funny. But let's take a look here. What do we got? Who's in here right now? Looks like we got 10 people viewing. That is fantastic. Don't know how many likes we have. I'm new to this whole streaming thing, so on YouTube, because I normally don't stream. Looks like we got 4 likes. That's fine with me. 10 people viewing, 4 likes. I mean, we could use more, but Alright, so let's get started. We're going to use the box navies. I do have one concern about the box navies, and that is that I did want to use LEDs in this build. And the problem with the box navies is the way that the click bar sits, and the way that the switch is constructed. You can kind of see that the LED goes into this like spot here at the bottom. It's having a hard time focusing here, but you can see like it goes into this spot right here, and the click bar is like right inside there. So you can kind of see if you click it, it's gonna be hard to focus. But if you click it, the click bar is going to hit that spot there, and we're not going to be able to get a good, get a very good replacement of the LED. So I do have these shorter LEDs. Normally I use the 2x3x4 millimeter LEDs, but I got these shorter ones from 1UP Keyboards, and they might work. Look like they clear it, but I tried some magenta LEDs and they didn't cut it, so that was kind of unfortunate. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get started with this. I'm also going to go with the MIT layout on this Preonic. So you'll see I put the stabs in already. Did that the other day. Normally I go with the grid layout, but I have a bunch of these 2-unit spacebar keycaps, and I wanted to use them, so I figured I should probably do that then, huh? And again, I can't tell you guys how excited I am to use these box navies. These are some great ones. All right, so go back to my main layout here so you guys can see this. So really, the beauty of this board is because you don't really have to mess with, there's not as much stabs you have to do, and then of course using the box navies I don't have to clip anything, so we can really kind of just get going on it. But there's some little quirkiness to the way that this one mounts, because we're not using a base plate, and that is it uses these little plastic standoff pieces, and they're these tiny little pieces of plastic that clip into the PCB. I'm going to show you one here in a second, but they're very hard to hold. And it's just this little, put something in front of it, but it's just this little piece of plastic that the screw goes into. And they just clip right into the board. You kind of just put these in there, just like that, or fumble around and have it not work. That also works. But these just clip in like that, and you can kind of see where they are there. They just clip in, and then the screws screw directly into those through the back of this plate. So it's a bit of a different layout than, or a bit different build type, and it actually makes it pretty slim too. So it's going to be a very compact board, which is cool. So for right now, I'm not really needing to put those in. You can put those in right before you assemble a plate, or right before you put the back plate on. So I'm going to go ahead and take those out for now. And then we'll start putting those switches in. You guys are still talking about beam springs, huh? I know that I thought that there was someone who was going to try to build like a new beam spring or something like that. I don't know, I didn't really look too far into it. And I think I saw earlier someone was asking if I have a solder cam, and no, I do not have solder cam. I do have the same soldering iron that Pete uses. I've got the Hakko 888D, and I can't recommend that enough. That is a fantastic soldering iron. We're just go ahead and clicking these in. Might try to get an ortho. Yes, easy on the wallet planks, euphorical, easy on the wallet planks are still available. I think he's probably going to have a lot more of those available than he did with his other boards, because they're a lot cheaper for him to source. And I think his profit margin is probably just slightly better. And I think his turnaround time for those is also way higher. I mean, he usually gets things to you in 3 weeks anyway. Jack does. Good old Jack Humbert. But, whatever. Oh, actually, if anyone wants to, if you want to put the link to my stream in Reddit or something, feel free to do so. I kind of like having my 1UP Keyboards chaps on here. I wouldn't mind randos, but who knows. So I think Pete said he is at the New Jersey meetup. Not sure when that ends. So he said he might pop in a little bit. we're just clipping these guys in here. What are we looking at here? Talking about Model Ms. Model F. Yeah, I haven't really been paying too much attention to those newer models and stuff. I know that I knew that there was someone making a lot of those soon, but me being an ortho guy, I'm kind of like, it's not really that interesting to me, I suppose. My collection of boards is pretty small. I mean, I've got this Preonic, that I've been using. So I got my Preonic. This is my favorite board of all time, which is why I'm building another one. Then I've got the mass drop plank that I got in the most, I guess it's upside down. So I got the mass drop plank with the mint green case from the previous one that they did. What else do I have? I've got that GH60 Satan that I'm going to be giving away, and then I've got that Gone Nerd TKL, which I'm also giving away, which has already been given away, I should say. Then I have another Gone Nerd TKL that was the one that I painted with a Future War Cult symbol or logo from Destiny and Destiny 2. But that one I'm keeping. I am not giving that one away. That one was my second board, actually. My first one was that TKL. It was the one with the clicky blues. But I am not giving that one away. The second one I made. Just because I put so much work into it, and it's kind of like a very special board to me, I suppose. So let's just clip these guys in here. And once I get these guys clipped in, then I'm probably going to solder up the LEDs, because I'm going to get those lined up, and then really the way that since these have these weird open bottoms on them, the box switches do. I'll show you what those look like. So like the box switches have this like open bottom kind of thing. So all you got, that's going in sideways. So all you have to do is just basically place it over top of the LEDs and you're done. You don't have to open up anything, which is great. Like that. Simple is better. Also makes it much easier to switch switches, because you don't have to unsolder the LEDs to move them. You just unsolder the switches, pull it off, and you're done. Fantastic design. I know that Kaiwa, I don't know, is maybe not the most popular, or hadn't been the most popular switch brand until they came out with some of these newer, more innovative switches. One second, my cat is driving me nuts. Loki! Hey, buddy. Hey, stop it. Here. This is my boy. He's being a butthead. He's being a butthead. Hey. Stop it. Go play with your laser toy. Anyway. Yeah, Euphorical, he is a sweetheart. I took him to the vet yesterday for his biannual checkup, and when I went to go pick him back up, all the vet techs in the site came out to let me know that he was awesome and they love him and he was too friendly and they wanted to take him away from me because he was too nice. And I said no. He is mine. Uh-oh. Mange flirting with Euphorical. Woo-wee! Yeah, I love my cats. They are fantastic. Oh, so I was saying, I got this new cat camera thing, so I can like check on my cats and stuff while I'm on my vacation, or I'm on my business trip, or vacation if I ever take one. And it's pretty cool. I can give access to my friends. They can like log in and play with the laser and stuff and see what my cats are up to. It's pretty neat. I love it. It's gonna give me something to do. Almost done here with putting these switches in. Once I get this thing all soldered up, I'm going to figure out what keycaps I want to put on it. I have a couple sets that I can... Ooh, ow. Poke me. I have a couple sets that are available. I haven't used on anything else. I got a couple DSAs. I do have... Oh yeah, I forgot. Another board I've got. I've also got this guy. This is my Viterbi split ortholinear with this is with the SA Miami keycaps, which were my absolute favorite keycaps until I got this MT3 set. To be honest, I think I like the colors and stuff better on this Miami. I would love it if there was a if they would make MT3 layout with this, but I do believe that they are only planning on doing dye-subbed PBT with that. And then PBT just doesn't have as bright of colors. I mean, you have some that are bright, like this orange. They're actually kind of bright, but doing something like this cyan and this bright pink, I don't think is anything they can really do. I mean, if I'm wrong, I hope so, because I would love that. So I might end up putting these... back on top of the on this new Preonic here once I'm done, because it's definitely one of my favorites. Man, that cat is just relentless. He will not stop. Drove a clip diode pin about 4 millimeters into your thumb. Oh, geez, Daedalus. Ouch. I actually was cleaning, and I had an LED. I was clipping LEDs, and I was cleaning on this desk, and there's a little part that kind of comes up right here, so you can put like paper and stuff so it doesn't slide off the edge. And the piece from the when I was swiping down like this, one of them got stuck on this. I didn't realize it, and it went all the way through my hand on this side here. It went all the way through, and it was sticking out like that. It was coming out like about that far. I wanted to take a picture of it, but I also didn't want to get infected, so I quickly removed it. Didn't hurt. It was just kind of like a shock. It stabbed through it so fast, but some of you, well, none of you have ever seen me in person. I think Mech Merlin has met me in person. Well, he might not remember, but I actually have a lot of body modifications. I have some gigantic holes in my face, besides my mouth and nose. I might be able to get a good look at them. Maybe. And switch to FaceTime. You can kind of see here. You can kind of see that guy. So that is a 9 millimeter hole, and then the one in the center there is a 6 millimeter, and then these guys are, well, I haven't worn jewelry in these in a long time, but they're about 9 millimeters. When I had them up to an inch at one point. I got the same thing on the other side there. So I am no stranger to pain. Okay, switches are all in. We're looking good here. We're going to go with the matte black back. And then this guy will just line right up with those switches. And you don't have to do very much assembly. Unless there's a bent pin, which it looks like there is. Yeah, just one bent pin. And there we go. So you can see now, you know, without having to clip those stabs, or, you know, the PCB stabs, I mean, it really just comes together very easily. And then with those standoffs, it really doesn't sit very far from the bottom of the board. So, I mean, you can see how low profile this is. This is like, you know, very low profile once it gets put together compared to the standard Preonic, which, you know, you're looking at a much, much thinner board. Oh, and I gotta put my spacebar switch in there. Kind of hard to line it up directly in the middle, how it's supposed to be when you can't really see it, but there we go. Now I'll just do a little, oh, yes, it is so good. Oh, it sounds fantastic. Feels great too that there's nothing tactile like a clicky switch. This beats Zelio tactility any day. Fantastic. If they could make a silent click bar like that, I mean, I don't know how they would even do it, but if they could make a silent click bar, I would be all over it. I'd order like 1,000 of them. So, I bought, I believe, 100 switches. I think that's how many I bought. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we should have about 40 left. 10, 20. Wait. No, 15. 20. 25. 30. Oh, I might have more. 35, 40, 45, 50, 60. I actually have enough to build 2 Preonics. I have enough to build 2 Preonics. I could build 2 Preonics with these switches. Oh. Oh, woe is me. Yeah, that might have to happen. I might have to put both of these in there. That changes everything, folks. That changes everything. Yes! Okay, well, we'll think about that later. That is just an extra... I thought that I only bought 100, but I bought 120. I must have saw into my future and decided that this was the way to go. Because I've been wanting to change out the switches on this Preonic for a little while now. Or maybe I'll hold off on these and wait until they come out with the milled bottoms. Because I'm waiting for the new Preonic. They have wooden milled bottoms for the Preonics available. And they have the PCBs that they will use with those, which is going to be this same PCB, the Rev 2. But the problem is they don't have the plates to go with those milled bottoms yet. So last I heard, Jack said that he was just waiting on an estimate for those. So hopefully soon we'll hear about that. And then I will build a new Preonic with the milled bottom with those remaining clicky switches. I think that's going to be the way to go. Okay. What is this here? Not really Daedalus. What are you saying? It's quite accident prone myself, and then I was breaking my bones because they mostly stayed intact. Do I prefer split or slab? So I think I prefer slab. I'm not really sure. Like split, is just weird to me. I do a lot of cross typing with my fingers, so a lot of times like my right index finger wants to hit B because my left hand's over here doing something else. And so I do a lot of this kind of switching between hands. And that, I know it's not great typing behavior, but it's just kind of what I do. So that Viterbi just kind of sits around, doesn't really ever get used. I don't prefer it. Okay, so next thing we got to do here is we got to get this set up for, we got to get everything set up for doing the soldering. Right now, I need to put some water in my soldering sponge. I thought that I brought my water bottle in here, but I did not. So just sit tight. I'll be right back. Okay. Drinking water is just good enough for soldering water. Oh, I think someone earlier asked me to show the keycaps I've been making. Who was that? Who was asking about my keycaps? I can show you a couple of them. I have a few older ones down here that I will not be selling. For a while there, I was making SA space bars back when I was really doing a lot of, or when I was using mainly standard size boards. So I made a lot of these SA resin space bars. So those were, this one's like an orange and black. There's another one, that same resin, orange and black. The problem with these was that the stems didn't quite form 100%, which ended up being because of the silicone molds had some issues with the silicone that I use interacts with the resin, so you have to like let it sit out for like a day or two. But then my old ones that because this was a new batch of silicone. This is my old batch of silicone here. And so the old batch had perfectly formed stems. But this one is like, it's really dark. You can't really even see through it. So these are my old, this was my old stuff that I did. But I don't use these space bars anymore. So I'm probably going to be giving these away. At the last Seattle meetup, I gave away a ton of those. So let's see. So then we come to these guys. These are the ones that I've been making recently. These are just SA keycaps mostly. So this is like this purple one that I made. I really wish that this camera would focus correctly. You gotta kind of put something in front of it so and you can see this is this purple one here. Cannot get it to focus. That guy will not do it. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, Daedalus, I do make my own molds. So that one's a row 1, I think. Row 4, row 1. I'm not really sure. This one's row 3. So, yeah. And then I made some blue and white ones. So this one is, I really like this one. This one turned out really good. But these ones turned out really interesting. So these ones are like this red color, and you can kind of see because they're translucent, but they have just enough dye in them. These guys look like they look like gummy, like they're made out of like gummy candy or something. There's a few of those that are like that, and they kind of have this weird glow to them. So if you have a LED behind them, they look amazing. But the problem is I haven't been able to replicate exactly that look. I don't know if I put too much dye in it last time, but I tried doing it again and it didn't quite turn out. But this is what I'm starting to make. I haven't made any more in a while just because I've been kind of prepping for this business trip I'm going on. Haven't had a ton of spare time. But I can show you the molds since Daedalus was looking at it. I can show you what I do. My molds aren't great to look at, but you can see here's the molds I make. So that's just one of them. I believe this one's a SAR4. I got quite a few of them here. This one's an SA. Oh, this one I don't have an example of yet. This is my brand new one. So this is a SA Row 3 homing cap. So it's got this real deep scoop in it. I haven't made one of these guys yet. I want to. And then, let's see. Hey, Dane Carter, I do not 3D print my molds. I actually mold from actual keycaps. So you can see here, these are the guys I use to make my my molds from. We got my SA R3s, Row 4, whatever. Got a couple of those guys, and then I got this one here is a homing cap. You can't see that in the live cam. So then you got this guy's homing cap. I think I have another one here somewhere, but this one here is cool. This is what I want to do next. This is the Devlin Aurora set, and you can see it has these really thick sidewalls, and that's what I want to do. So Dane, if you're interested in doing resin forming and stuff, stay tuned to my channel. I'm actually going to be doing a video series on how to make these resin, or how to make resin stuff with both cheap materials and expensive materials, cheap tools and expensive tools. I actually have a tutorial that I've made already, but the problem is that the we're going to change this view. So I have a tutorial that's already done, but the problem is that the lighting was a bit weird and the sound was a bit weird, and but I'm going to make another one using my new camera setup, my new lighting setup, and I'm going to go through all of it. So I'm going to tell you exactly what tools to buy, how much they cost, where to buy them, and then also how to do it without buying expensive tools. Steffi, or Steph, I have not sold any Artisans. I've only ever given them away. I want to sell them eventually, but there's not really a great price point to put them at because my Artisans are very simple, and maybe someone might want to buy them, but as I guess as an artist, I don't feel like it would be fair to me to sell these when I'm still pretty much an amateur. But I do have, you can see here, I got more molds. These are some of my other molds. These are my spacebar, my SA spacebar molds, which you can see they use a lot of silicone. And actually the reason why I use a lot of silicone on these, because it does seem like it's excessive, but the reason why is because it is the flex. So you can see like it doesn't flex much when you use a lot of silicone. If it was too little, this would flex a bunch, and when you go to put it in the chamber, the resin will escape much easier, and so you'll get a lot of like excess resin around the sides of your molds. I found that out the hard way. But just to show you, to kind of give you an example of what I deal with, so this is how I buy my resin, or how I buy my silicone. I buy it in gigantic, these are gallon buckets. So this is a gallon of each of these. So it ends up being 2 gallons of silicone. And then I've been using this. This is the resin that I've been using. This is Smooth Cast 327. That's that resin that you saw that had the gummy look. That's this resin. This resin's really nice, and it's relatively cheap. But it's not clear. So clear, if I want to use clear, I use Alumilite, water clear. And this is actually pretty good. The Alumilite water clear, I don't think I have any examples of the water clear, but it has a very, very, very clear look to it. Oh, actually I do have some of the first resin casting I did when I was first learning how to do it. I made these guys here. These are raccoons. These little toy raccoons. But the resin with the molds that I have were not great. I was still learning how to do it. Didn't have a good way of getting the excess gas and stuff out of there, so there are a lot of bubbles. But yeah, this is the Alumilite clear with some coloring in it. I put some color and some glitter in it to give it this look, but it actually turns out pretty clear. So what's Maine's talking about? No, you're talking about 3D printers. I don't know. I want to buy a 3D printer, but I'm kind of on the fence about it. I want to wait until I can get a resin printer, just because the resin printers are so nice. I mean, they're more expensive. I'm talking about the laser resin printers, where it kind of rises up out of the resin. But they're so much more accurate, and they have a much smoother grading to them on like various things. But anyway, that's a side conversation. Okay, so we're going with this. We're going with this look here. Going with the box navies, and I'm going to put LEDs in this one. And I'm thinking I'm going to use these UV LEDs, which I have never used before. So these are new to me. I really like magenta LEDs. They're my favorite. So Mange, yeah, you're talking about a resin printer. Yeah, those are the resin printers are cool. I really like them. But yeah, they are expensive. Okay, so positive and negative. I can never remember which one's negative and which one's positive on these guys. So we're going to have to look it up. My nice bright pink phone. Let's take a look. All right, well, the negative is the shorter side. Positive is the longer side. So negative is the shorter side, positive is the longer side. So we're looking at like this. Now, I'm not cool like Pete, so I don't have a little extra hand that can help me do this. So I have to kind of like bend these my hand myself and just kind of hold them in place. Not really the best way of doing it because of the way these switches work. I might have to rethink this because these have to line up just right with these guys. If they don't line up, the click bar will be messed up, and then it won't really matter what I'm doing. Doing this wrong. Oh, I'm in the wrong. I did this completely the wrong way. Well, forgive my stupidity. Doing this wrong. So negative leg, short leg. There we go. That's better. Yeah, see the way that these go in, you have to kind of do it a different way through the bottom. And if they don't line up correctly, it's going to bump that bar. Yeah, looks like that's fine. Get a little bit of wiggle room in there that might make it okay. I think we're good. Yeah. So I also have green, and I think I have green, orange, red, but I don't have magenta. I got these because I wanted a purple look, and these are the UV ones. I don't normally have the LEDs on, but it was kind of like a, heck, why not, you know? Why not do it? Let's go ahead and turn action cam. Why not? Has anyone got any plans or anything to do this weekend that's cool besides watching a nerd like me build keyboards? I think after this today, I'm probably going to play some video games. I've been playing, I started playing The Division again. I had it on PS4, and then I bought it on PC, and because they had it on sale on Steam during the winter sale. So I bought it on Steam, and it's still not perfect. I think it still needs some work, but it's still, you know, decent game. I also play a bunch of Destiny, but I don't know. Destiny's kind of been, it's kind of gotten stale for me. Just not a lot to do anymore. I feel like, I know they have a lot of changes that are, or sorry, Destiny 2, I should say. I know they have a lot of changes coming up that are going to fix a lot of the issues that I have, but it's just time, you know, like, I just want them to have it done. Steph, oh yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to avoid that. I don't want my click bar to get messed up. And actually, so if you buy these are the smaller LEDs that Pete sells, that are a little bit more lower profile than the standard 2x3x4s. And these guys actually seem to fit with a lot of wiggle room. So that's good. It's going to make it so I don't have to worry about that as much. But man, getting these guys to sit still, holy crap. I'm going to think of a better way of doing this. So they just flopping all over the place on here. They're just all over. Mange, I play on PC. I have it on console as well. I bought it when it first came out on console, but then once they came out with the PC version, I switched over. Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I've played since the original Destiny, and I've played a lot of Destiny, and I really like it. The gunplay in the first one was fantastic, and the gunplay in the second one also fantastic, but I gotta admit that I feel like they really changed too much. They changed too much on it. It doesn't feel like it's the same type of game anymore. And I feel like Destiny 2 has a lot more PvP focus, and I don't play PvP at all. So it really was like, you know, at that point, I just felt like it was not really my game anymore. It really kind of doesn't please me. And I know they're making more changes to it, but So far, it's just been promises to make change and no actual changes to the gunplay and the way that the PvP and PvE are separate from each other. And so I just, not that I don't trust them, but I definitely just don't feel like it feels like lip service at this point. Until I see some actual results, I don't want to believe it. And oh my god, exotics are terrible. Like, exotics are terrible in the game. Should be way better. Oh, I forgot to do something. First thing I should always do on any of these boards, plug it in to make sure it even works. Let's do that. It does work. Also, you can see here the braided cable from 1UP keyboards. This is the Miami pink and blue. I need to redo the shrink wrap on it, but... So, doing LEDs is so tedious. It just takes so long. Tedium. See, this is where I really envy Pete. You know, he's got someone to hang out with him while he does this. You know, I got you guys to hang out with me, but, you know, Steph is there to chill. Tell him all kinds of stuff. Yes, yeah, not really. So Daedalus, yeah, that's what I got. I got the no solder one, and the problem was that if you don't have the cables, or, you know, the wires lined up just right, they don't make a full connection. And so I didn't make a full connection with it. And so what ended up happening is one of the wires was loose, so I had to undo the shrink wrap, because I didn't notice it was loose until after it like gotten wiggled just enough to undo it. So I had to take the shrink wrap off and re-crimp it, and that's when I messed it up. So I kind of think I'm gonna go with the soldering ones from now on. My soldering is actually not bad. I don't know if I told you guys. I used to be an electrician in the United States Navy, and so we had to do soldering all the time, and so I got good at it. And then in college, I was going for a master's in fine art, building electronic, like weird little electronic gadgets that were like art piece gadgets, so like installations with like weird sounds and interactive stuff that was happening in them. And then, so I did a bunch of soldering for that, a lot more micro soldering, so similar to what I'm doing here. That was a lot of fun. Hey, people are making friends on my stream. I like that. I like that a lot. Man, some of these LED solder pads are so dangerously close to other components. It always makes me nervous when I see that. Oh well. Now see, unlike Pete's stream, I don't have a chair that I can sit on in here, so I have to stand this whole time. So in a little bit, I might take a little seat break and sit down. And the reason why I have it like that is because this is also my art desk, and I stand when I do art. I can't sit and draw. It just drives me nuts. Let's see what our stream health is looking like. What we got? 10 people watching. Still. I guess that's what it says. dashboard's a bit weird on the site. I've never really used it, so this is kind of interesting to see it. Yeah, mange, that's the... For me too, they are a pain to desolder. But I don't know, I guess I got used to having them. And I kind of do like occasionally just turning them on just for that little bit of glow, you know? Kind of neat. But neon pink is by far my favorite color of LED at this point. So I kind of I wanted those, but they don't have, I don't think Pete has the neon magenta ones in this particular form factor. So far I've only ever seen, so Steph, these are UV. So these are going to be like an indigo purple-ish color. I've seen these before, and they're not quite UV LEDs. They're just like a very dark blue. They're not really, they're not purple like black lights. They don't look like black lights. Daedalus. Yeah, $50 worth of Pro Micros, so you've basically killed 10 Pro Micros. Those things are so cheap. They're so cheap. Building my Viterbi, I ended up killing a Pro Micro in the process of desoldering it because of I forgot to solder one of the switches correctly, and it was under the Pro Micro, so I had to redo the whole thing. It was so annoying. Oh, yeah. Unsoldering, yeah, desoldering a pad or like damaging a pad, that's the worst. I've only done that one time, and that was not when I was doing keyboards. The key is a good soldering iron. These Hakko ones, I can't stress enough. These are fantastic, just because the temperature control on them is so good. The only time that I've ever desoldered messed up a pad was because the soldering iron was too hot, and so it messed it up. And so I'm starting to realize here, I'm starting to run low on these LEDs, and I still have a bunch more to go. I think I might have just enough to do this one. I guess, 65, yeah. I'll have just enough. Once these guys are done, and placed, take a quick break, and then I'll go through and do my next set, or we'll solder them in, and then we'll do putting the actual switches in, soldering those guys in, and then I gotta flash it. And actually, I want to show you guys some stuff that's in my studio, but there's a couple secrets that I have in my studio that I would love to show you guys, but I am sworn to secrecy, so I can't show them to you. Soon, though. Maybe in like 2-3 months, hopefully, I'll get permission to show you. Well, not permission. You'll get to see them. I'll put it that way. Oh, this is taking so long. These particular LEDs sit differently. They sit very different compared to the 2x3x4 LEDs. These guys actually move around a lot more. 2x3x4s, in my experience, they have a their build is very different, and so they sit flat and flush with the PCB. These guys move around more. It's kind of weird. But then again, when you're putting those 2x3x4s in, you're putting them into a switch, and so they kind of sit where they're supposed to anyway. They don't really move once you got them in place. So that's very different compared to these guys. But it is a difference I'm willing to accept in order to use those box navies. Because again, I mean, how can you say no to this? It's so good. It's so good, guys. That click just feels fantastic. And not only is it like a satisfying, like deep click sound. I mean, let's do a sound comparison. Let's do that. I got blues right here. So look at that. So this is blues. I'm not gonna bottom out so you can hear what the click is like. Now with this, now compared to this, it's a much deeper click. Maybe a little louder too, but once we get it all built, we'll do a direct, we'll put keycaps on it and we'll have a direct sound comparison. It'll be a little more natural. Because without keycaps on it and without having a fully built board, it's going to sound just a little bit different. Anyway, once we're done with this board, I'll probably take a very short break. Once we're done soldering it, we'll probably take a very short break, and then we'll go and we'll start doing. I'm gonna desolder that. I'm gonna desolder that plank, and put 65 gram Celios in it. If that sounds good to y'all, and stick around for that. That's going to be fun. And I might put LEDs in that plank as well. That plank might end up being a giveaway plank, so again, stay tuned. I do like doing giveaways. I don't use my plank. I like having numbers. All right, Steph. It looks like you're taking off. Thanks for joining the stream. Just being a nerd. Putting stuff up on here. Loki. My cat's getting antsy. He wants in. He wants in so bad. He likes to be a good boy. He likes to spend time with me. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, cool. You're sticking around for the stream. Good. Good. Yeah. You're almost done with the LED placement. Just got a few more to go. And then we can take a look at it. Make sure we don't have any put in the wrong spots, which I just almost did. And then I'll grab a drink of coffee. Maybe I'll even show you guys some of my artwork that I have laying around in the studio here. There's not a lot, just maybe 4 or 5 pieces. What do I think about the Zephyr? Well, again, it's a standard layout board, so it's not a type of board I use. I use orthos. I do think it is a bit high priced. I mean, it's what, like $500 or something? Before you even go into switches and keycaps, $500 for just the case and plate and PCB. And to me, that's just a bit too high. That being said, I am interested in Rama's new. I think is it the M60? No, sorry, not Rama's. The M0110, because they are making an ortho plate, or they're gonna open source the design so that you can make ortho plates for it. And I learned how to type. That changed the view? Did it? What did happen? What happened here? That was weird. Interesting. Well, pardon me 1 second here while I... Looks like something happened to the cameras. I typed on my keyboard by accident. Okay. So it's saying mange, it's overpriced. Yeah, I think that, I mean, I love Zeal's switches. I think his switches are fantastic, but they are expensive. But then again, you know, he did have to pay for, you know, that collaboration with Gateron to do that. So I mean, that right there is kind of an understanding. But then I don't know, just something about the. I mean, I know the build quality is really nice and everything, but it's just so expensive. It just seems. It seems wrong. It seems wrong. But then again, you know, that keyboard isn't for me. It's not something that I would want to build. That style of keyboard isn't my style of keyboard. So it's really not something that was marketed towards me to begin with. So I'm going to do something here real quick. I'm going to see if I can invite another one of my friends over to the stream. But anyway, choosing such an expensive PCB, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think a lot of that is very true. I feel like there's a lot of really weird design choices around it. But I mean, it really goes down to doing like premium design and premium builds, right? Like the whole point behind that board was to do like this premium board. And so, you know, you want premium, you got to pay for premium. It just feels like that may be just a bit too premium for me. So I'm going to help myself to some coffee. It's good. Maybe a little too strong. Guatemalan coffee, I love it. Big fan of, wrong one. Yeah, I've always really liked Latin American coffees. They've always been my favorite. And me, I'm Mexican, so technically I'm from Latin America. So maybe that's a good thing. Yeah, Guatemalan coffee is always one of my favorite types. All right, so one of the things we got to do when you're doing the salt was serious. You railed on about the Band-Aids. Yeah. So whenever you're soldering, unless you wear glasses normally, you should really invest in a pair of safety glasses, because if that solder pops and it gets into your eye, that's it. You won't see anything ever again. I've had solder pop on me one time, and it was scary enough. I used to do stained glass windows, too. I don't have any pictures I can really show of those, unfortunately. But you use a lot of solder in that. So. Alright, so now I gotta get some... Unfortunately, I don't have a cool fan like Pete does. So I have to kind of use a standard house fan and hope it doesn't fall over or cause some other issues. I'm just kind of worried it's gonna make the table vibrate too much, and it might look weird. Let me know if that looks weird, or if that's shaking the camera, or if it sounds bad. I think it probably makes a little bit of noise, but maybe not too much. Okay, so solder-wise, so I do have unleaded solder, but non-leaded solder is just, I don't like it. It's too hard to undo. Yeah, this fan is actually kind of loud, isn't it? Yeah, lead solder. So guys, let me know if this fan is too loud. I'm just going to stay quiet for a second. We'll see. It's kind of loud, isn't it? So unfortunately, I do not have solder can. So y'all are going to have to struggle without that. No solder cam. Okay, so when I'm talking, it's okay. Yeah, I don't really have a better spot to put it. Maybe over here. Yeah, I guess it's a little better, but that gain is really kicking it up, isn't it? I just don't have a good spot for it because of the way my studio is set up. It makes a lot of noise. And my camera, my microphone's pretty sensitive, so it's going to pick that up. Okay, well, let's get to soldering. So, actually, I'm going to need something to lean this up against so we can get a good... Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because if I lean this up against here, these these LEDs don't move as much, so it kind of helps. And since I don't have solder cam, you guys are not going to get to see the entire soldering process, which I know is a thing that y'all like to do on Pete's stream, but it's not as cool as Pete. All right, I'm just going to test this out real quick just to make sure that it is working as intended. Got my first LED soldered. I just want to make sure that I'm not doing anything wrong. And it looks like that LED is lit up. It's just very, very dim. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that is a very dim LED. Almost invisible. Oh well. That is what we've got. Oh, then again, it might be that the brightness on the PCB might be turned all the way down by default, which it probably is. I'm as cool as Pete. Mange says I'm as cool as Pete because I can make artisans and I can draw, so that outweighs solder cam. Well, thank you. That makes me feel a lot better. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, you know, I like doing keyboard builds. Never really thought about streaming them, though, just because, I don't know, didn't really think that there'd be a ton of people that interested in it. And of course, then I saw Pete and started learning about how he does things. So I'm just lining this up here just to make sure that I didn't screw up how it's lined up. And we still got click, folks. We still have click. We are gold. Because this little LED ended up being a little crooked. Yeah, I think, Steph, I think my next step is I'm going to crank out a bunch of those standard layout ones. So like R3, you know, I'm going to start really cranking out a lot of those standard size and shape and profile. And then I'm going to start making 100% custom molds for my artisans. And at that point, that's when I can actually say that they're artisan. I think right now, I wouldn't really call them artisan just because they're just resin keycaps. I wouldn't say that they're artisans. But once I start making them myself and I'm actually making my own designs, then I feel like that would be, you know, I can actually legitimately say that I make artisan keycaps. Not that they aren't Artisan if you don't, but personally, you know, having that skill already of making resin ones, it just feels like that. I personally don't think that I'm an artisan. Just because I can make resin. Well, thank you. Yeah, Mange says they are art, so they are artisan. Well, thank you. I appreciate the vote of confidence. Yeah, I've been doing art for a while. I've kind of always been an artist. My brother also. He is also an artist. And actually, 3 of the boys in my family are artists. My older brother Aaron, my younger brother Chaz, and we are all artists. I'm also a computer programmer. That's what I do for a living. And I've actually thought about streaming, Mange, I actually thought about streaming video games as well. I did stream briefly a few weeks ago. I was streaming The Sims 4. But I was basically doing that for a friend because I have a really good friend my best friend, actually. And we are just kind of goofy in general, and like The Sims is a really easy way to just goof off and do really abnormal things, I guess you would say. And so we were going to stream that, or I was going to stream my Sims 4 playing, but I did it for a little bit, and then I just kind of stopped. So we are having some issues with the way these guys are getting in the way. I'm doing the bottom row so I can cut these legs off. Pyro. Oh, no. Actually, it's for... Pyro is one of my buddies. My best friend is my friend Aloe. And, yeah, they're like my absolute best friend of all time. So... And unfortunately, Aloe lives in Seattle, and that's about 2 hours away from where I live. And so we never really get to hang out anymore. And so I try to stream so that we can kind of hang out vicariously. And we kind of goof off and do stuff. Oh, gonna get some coffee? You know what? I'm gonna have some too. There it is. Fantastic. I've actually thought about streaming. I'm actually my dad is a chef, and my brother he cooks as well, and I cook all my meals. You know, 80 to 90%, 80 to 100% from scratch. I very rarely use any kind of pre-made stuff. So I you know, I make my own dough for pizza. I make my own sauce for pizza, pastas, things like that. I make my own spice blends. And I've actually thought about streaming my cooking and like kind of having my own cooking show kind of thing going on. But just haven't gotten around to it. I'm not really sure. I'd have to put a bunch of lighting and stuff. And Mange is saying, yeah, it's never easy. Yeah, it's really tough. Aloe used to live with me here, and we hung out all the time. I mean, it was really just like party central in here, pretty much. Just a lot of fun, a lot of goofing off. And then when Aloe moved away, it just kind of got sad, you know, not having my best friend around. So That was a bit of a bummer. All right, so reason number 4,000 to own safety goggles. I just clipped off this guy and it flew all the way across the room, and that would have hit my eye, probably. So we're just gonna clip these bottom guys off so I can not have them in my way while I'm doing this. Just clipping these off here real quick. Get them out of the way. I've also thought about doing putting music on my stream here, just because I usually listen to music or audiobooks while I'm doing my keyboard building, but I have to find stuff that's not going to get blocked by YouTube. I have a couple of things. I actually have permission from an artist that I really like to use her music in my stream. I asked her a couple months ago, or actually, I guess it was a year ago now, and she gave me permission to use her music because it's not like flagged anywhere on YouTube as being copyrighted, but I still wanted to ask her permission. So maybe I'll do that next time. It's kind of like 80s synthwave music, which is kind of like my thing. I love that. For those of you who don't know, I was like a child of the 80s. I was born in 1979. So I grew up with a lot of synth music. What Steph says, yeah, I can use royalty-free music, and that's what I'm planning on doing. The artist I was just talking about, her music is all royalty-free. I bought it all. I bought all of her music on off of her website, and I really like it. She's actually a very prolific artist. If you want to check her out, her name is Celerect/SLA Dreams. I'll actually type that in here. Maybe type that in here. There we go. So it's Celerect, or you might see her as LA Dreams. Her music's really cool. Like I said, I'm really into synthwave music, so it's my style in general. One second here, I'm checking out some stuff on the stream. Yeah. So Mange, what time is it where you're at? I guess I can ask. Alexa, what time is it in Sweden?
The time in Sweden is 10:38 p.m.
10:38 p.m. You know what's funny is I have an Alexa. I have quite a few of them actually around the house, and whenever I watch Pete's stream, it sets off my item. Because Pete uses his occasionally on stream, and then mine answers. It's kind of funny. Alright, so we got a row of LEDs all soldered in. See, this is what I was saying, like, you can kind of see, maybe, if the camera will let me. Maybe. Unfortunately, I'm using the Mac to do this stream, and you can't control the Logitech camera controls with the OBS for Mac, which is unfortunate. That's okay. Looks like some of these might be a little too crooked to get into the switch spots, so might have to desolder. Might have to desolder a couple of them. No, well, they don't look pretty, but looks like they line up okay. Let's see how they look with the lights on. Yeah, they're very, very faint. Very faint. That is okay. I can do with faint. NCS is always an option. Resi, what is NCS? What is that? I don't know what that means. Sorry it's taking me so long in soldering these LEDs, folks, but I just need to make sure that they're not getting too crooked and not getting kind of in my way here while I'm trying to do these other guys. So normally this would go much faster. Once we get to switches, I'm actually very fast with soldering switches, so it'll go a little smoother. Actually, let's do this. Let's move this. So you might want to look away from the camera for a second, or actually I'll just do this. I'll do this. Go to me. You're going to move this guy a little closer. So you can see what it is that I'm doing. Oh, no copyright sound. Yeah. And like Maine just saying, a lot of that is kind of not really my style, but yeah, there is quite a bit. I really like. I mostly listen to electronic music. That's basically my thing is electronic music. I listen to. I'm trying to think of who. I like Tycho a lot. I like, who else? Odessa. There's quite a few actually, quite a few bands that I really, really enjoy. Or I guess not bands, but producers. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Porter Robinson. Porter Robinson Worlds. That's one of my favorite albums of. Well, it's an old one, but I'm kind of old. I don't discover music very easily, and so I just found it. Yes, Euphorical Tycho is amazing. I absolutely love Tycho. And I guess Tycho has a tour coming up, and he's going to be performing, I think, near Ishmi. I think it might be Vancouver, but unfortunately, I don't have a passport anymore. My passport expired. So I have to redo my passport if I want to go see that show. And that's not like a, showstopper or anything, but getting a passport's a pain in the butt. Yeah, Euphorical Porter Robinson. Yep, I love Porter Robinson. Like, Worlds is just so good. I listen to that album, actually, usually when I'm doing art. That's one of my favorite things to listen to is Porter Robinson. I know the timing of it, so like I can tell like how long, like if I get to a certain song or whatever, I can tell how long something has been sitting. If I'm doing resin casting, I can actually time my resin casting to the sounds of Porter Robinson. I think I've listened to that album at this point. I think I've listened to it like maybe 20 times straight through, maybe more. So. What other stuff do you like, Euphorical? Tell me. Give me some suggestions. I have a feeling we probably like a lot of the same music. And I know that this angle still isn't great for you guys to be able to see what I'm doing, but it's a little better than being further back the way it was, right? You can kind of see where I'm going here. It's no solder cam, but it's good enough. Try not to burn my fingers. Let's see, there's another guy. You think that is similar? Okay. Yeah, let me know. Because I am always down for new music. My older brother, Aaron, he is very much the music aficionado, and he is always telling me about different bands and stuff I should listen to. But he has what's that streaming service, the music streaming service, Spotify. He has Spotify. I do not. I just use Amazon Prime Music because I don't feel like paying for a music streaming service. The only time I listen to music is in the car or when I'm doing artwork. So it doesn't really make sense for me to pay for a streaming service when I have Prime already and the music's free. Steph, you listen mostly to rap. That I used to listen to hip hop when I was a kid, and then like hip hop kind of, I mean it's still around obviously. I mean it's still quite good, but I don't know. I just felt like hip hop, you know, it's a lot more it's a lot more targeted towards like I don't know, street culture and stuff, and I don't live in a street culture. And so it just felt kind of weird to me. I felt like, for me, personally, listening to hip-hop, I just felt like I was kind of a poser, in a way. So I stopped listening to hip-hop back when I was in, like, 8th grade, maybe? And I started listening to more, like, well, that's when I got into Nirvana. That was when Stone Temple Pilots' first album came out. Yeah, I'm an older dude, so those are the bands I listened to when I changed the genres that I really got into. So alright, there's a second row of LEDs all done. So let me check and make sure I got all the solder points. Oh, missed one. Yeah, a lot of these paths, all these soldering, or these LEDs are sitting crooked. I really don't like that. Kind of upsetting. But fortunately, the way this is, it's not really much I can do about it. My cat is going nuts outside. So I actually have two cats. So the first one you guys saw, that was Loki. He's the younger boy, and he is a handful. And my older cat is named Boo Boo, and she right now is outside the door begging to be let in. I would bring her in here to show you, but she does not like being held. So, and I don't feel like getting my face scratched off this morning. So I'm going to hold off on that. And it looks like we are coming up on We are coming up on just about 2 o'clock now. I'm just gonna mess with my power cable here real quick. So this streaming is actually using a bunch of my juice. So I'm worried that my laptop's going to go out of power before I'm able to finish my stream, which would be a disaster. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about that. As it is charging, but battery is not charging. That's not good. Vectroid. Euphorical says Vectroid. Never heard of it. I'll have to take a look at that. Vectroid made Macintosh 420. Oh, is that the first? Is that Vaporwave? I also really love Vaporwave. I know that's kind of a meme, but I freaking love it. Kind of like that slow jam. I used to listen to a ton of Vaporwave. I haven't in a while, though, just because I haven't built any good playlists for it in a while. But maybe I'll do that next. Maybe I'll build another Vaporwave playlist. I really like it. Yeah, Vaporwave is fun. Some of these pins are getting real hard to solder. Yes, Boo-Boo, I hear you. She is relentless. So we're going to finish this row here real quick, and then I'm going to take a coffee break for just like 2 minutes, and then we'll go back in. I think we have just 3 more rows to go, and then we're done with LEDs. Which is good, because this is tedious. I'm planning for the stream to go for a while today, so so I was saying I think that we'll end up going towards we'll end up doing this for a little bit longer, and then we'll desolder that plank, and we'll put Zelios in there. But I will not put, I'm not going to be putting any LEDs in that It was tempting at first to think about doing that, but I'm probably going to end up selling or giving away that plank, and I don't want someone to have to deal with desoldering LEDs because they don't like them. That would be a pain. Personally, I like LEDs. Just occasionally turn them on. Just looks cool. I should have been cleaning my soldering head, but haven't been. All right, so that row's done. All right. So we're making progress. I'm going to go ahead and clip off these leads here. So we're just bending these up. And let's clip them right off. Just to get them out of the way. Yeah, orange 1.8mm LEDs. Yeah, so that's what I'm using, the 1.8mm ones for these guys. You should definitely tell me what you think of those, because I have the orange 1.8mm as well. And they're, you know, just the same as these guys, but these ones are UV, and those are going to be dimmer anyway. But I normally use the 2x3x4s, and I have a feeling that those are brighter in general than these guys are, than the 1.8s are. Because I don't know if you ever saw, if you saw the last stream, I know that Mange did. Mange saw the last stream I did with my friend Pyro, and we used 2x3x4 LEDs in that one, and they were bright. Those orange LEDs were very bright. And so I'm worried that these smaller guys aren't going to be as bright. And while that doesn't matter too much, it is kind of a thing. You know, I want my LEDs to be bright and shiny. That's why I got them. But even so, even if these aren't that bright, it's not a huge deal. Not gonna be mad about it. Yeah, Euphorical, that was the carbon fiber. Yeah, that was a fun stream. I really liked that stream a lot. You know, got Pyro was playing his video games. I was doing my keyboard building and stuff. It was a lot of fun. I'm hoping that I can do that again sometime. If I do that though, I have to. I'm not going to stream with my laptop, just because my laptop, as nice as that this Mac is, it just can't. It doesn't have as good of a power for it, so. Maybe another time I'll do that. So where are you from, Euphorical? Tell me about it. For some reason I think Euphorical, I think you're from the United States, right? Maybe not. Streaming a lubing process. I've never lubed anything on any of my keyboard builds. I find that the Zelio switches lube is just fine by me, so it doesn't really, never really needed to do that. I'm sure that there is a definite difference in feel between lubed and non-lubed. Oh, Euphorical's in Illinois. I'm actually going to be in Illinois in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. my business trip is taking me to Chicago, or the Chicago area. I'm actually going to be in Whiting, which is near Gary, Indiana, which sucks. That's where I'm staying. Gary, Indiana's butt. And I live in Washington now, but I was born and raised in Ohio. Well, maybe euphorical. Maybe one of these times when I have to take, like, I'm probably going to be going on these business trips a bunch. So maybe one of these times when I'm in Whiting, which probably going to happen again sometime either later this year or next year, we can do like a stream or something. I'll bring my equipment and we'll do a combined stream of some kind. We'll do a build or something. How does that sound? Could be fun. Just getting these little leads off just takes... You gotta be careful. Like, I don't know if you just saw that, but that little piece flew right up into my face. Yeah, I'll keep you informed, Euphorical. The next time I'm in that area. Like I said, it's probably gonna be sometime later this year. Maybe not until next year, but who knows? It's hard to say. The client that I'm gonna be working with is not the most communicative, so that's okay. Hey, Disco Frog, welcome back. You missed it. I actually was showing off the keycaps that I made. I didn't realize you were gone. I can show you again here in a minute. Just working on clipping off these LED leads. I think we just have 2 more rows to go now. So let's get these guys done. Get that out of the way. I'll tell you what, Disco, we'll show you real quick. I'll show you the ones that I've been working on, because I got them right over here. I can show you very easily. So we got these kind of like red ones here are like the camera is having a real hard time focusing. It just really wants to focus on my shirt for some reason. But yeah, I got like just a couple that I've been working on. There it goes, now it's focused. Got these like blue and white ones that I've made. Yeah, these red ones are freaking amazing. They really turned out good. I'm pleasantly surprised by how they turned out. Because they're not completely translucent. They're just a little bit like, you know, they're just a little bit transparent. So they got this nice glow to them when you light them up with LEDs, which I can do later. I'll show you what they look like when they have. I'll put them on. Actually, I can put them on my Preonic. I can do that right now. Let's do that. You can see exactly what they look like when they're lit up. No, this has magenta LEDs in it, so this will be a bit different. We'll turn off this guy so we get a little better lighting. There we go. And so you can kind of see how they glow. There's just a faint bit of glow that kind of comes through on them. There we go. That's a better look. So you can see there's like this nice little faint glow that shows up, and they and better. Actually, let's make it dark. Be a little better. Maybe now you can kind of see, if I close that up, you can kind of see how they have this nice bright glow to them. So the only problem I have with those is that the resin shrinks just a little bit as it cures, and so the stems aren't like 100%. They're not super tight. So I'm gonna have to work on that. I think I have an idea for how to fix it, but if I start making more of them, then we'll maybe start selling them or whatever, getting them away, and you guys can check them out. I do want to get to the point where I'm able to. I do want to get to the point where I'm starting able to give those away or sell them in some way. It's just gonna be a while because I am hypercritical of my own work, and it makes it very difficult for me to do anything. Am I using a synth? Yes, actually I use a synth, but only for specific keycaps. I find that the synth's nice, but you can get the same effect without having to use one. So I have this, this guy here, and then the stem thing. But the problem with the synth is that you can only make one keycap at a time, and so I don't really like that. I want to be able to make multiple. So doing it just the standard way is fine. I think the synth is better for making 100% custom keycaps. It's not really meant for doing reproductions of existing keycap types. Disco Frog, no, I did not. I made the red keycaps just by making a silicone mold from a direct SAR4 keycap. When was SAR4? And I was saying earlier, Disco Frog, just so you know, I have a tutorial series that I'm planning to show people how to make, how to do keycap making 100%. From beginning to end. It's probably going to be about, I'm thinking it's going to be 6 videos. I think it'll be 6 videos of it. Six half-hour-long videos, most likely. Waiting for a pressure pot. Yeah, I actually have one. I have a ginormous pressure pot. It's a 5-gallon. It's actually meant for spray painting. For people doing car, whatever you want to call it, car modification, spray painting cars and stuff. That's really what it's meant for. Or maybe doing house painting, but it's huge. And it was extremely expensive. I can show it to you in a little bit. I also have a vacuum chamber. My vacuum chamber's in the other half of my studio. that doesn't have any lighting in it, so I can't take you in there. You wouldn't be able to see it anyway. We're making progress. Yeah, Disco Frog, you do have to modify it. I had to pull out some stuff, change the valve type because the valve was not the right kind. And then like the relief valve still I need to fix. My pressure pot is rated at 90 psi, but the pressure valve goes off at 50, which is pretty high. I mean, 50 is good enough, I think, for most casting, but I kind of want to have it at least be able to get to 60, because I feel like at 60, like that's pretty much where you want to be. I'm gonna modify this little guy, get out of the way. Almost done with this row. So we're almost done with LEDs, and then we can start going into switches. I am really stoked for that. Hoping Pete can make it to the stream later. Probably going to be streaming for a couple more hours, so that would be really nice if Pete could make it. I would really like that. I don't know if you guys can hear my cat meowing in the background, but oh my god, she is absolutely distraught. Okay, one last row. Let's do a clean. Okay, here we go. Last row. Let's try to zoom through this one. I'm done soldering LEDs. Oh yeah. It's looking good, fellas. Almost done. So Disco, you live in Sweden as well? Seems like we got quite a few people from Sweden. I don't know if you guys, so those of you who were who were on the stream for when I was working with Pyro, he actually works for a company that is based out of Sweden. He goes to Sweden somewhat regularly too. I believe he was there just last week or 2 weeks ago. Yeah, he goes there pretty often. which is cool. I would love to go to Sweden someday, but right now I don't really have much of a reason to, so... Sweden just seems like a cool country. Disco Frog, so he works for DreamHack. He is actually one of the head salesmen, I believe, for DreamHack. So he's pretty much one of the main dudes for DreamHack in the United States. Alright, all the LEDs are now soldered in, so let's go ahead and clip these remaining leads off, take a short break, and then we'll do the switches. You guys talking about blank keycaps? Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about Artisans, right? Like, Artisans are always going to end up being blank. So if I sell, start selling my keycaps that I make, they have to be blank. I've thought about some ways around that, though, and I'm looking into it. But if I do it how I think I'm going to do it, they would be extremely time-consuming to make. And they will also be, because of that, they will also be very expensive. And so buying a whole set of keys with that would be a bit ridiculous. Because I kind of calculated out time-wise and then material-wise how much it was going to cost. And it ended up being like probably somewhere around $20 per keycap. So, for a full set, you're looking at a lot of money. So I think I would probably just do WASD, and then just only sell them in a set of WASD caps. And if I did that, then WASD would probably be, I'd probably sell like the full set for like 60 or something, just to give a bit of a price break. But they would have legends. They would actually have Artisan legends, which is be kind of cool. Disco Frog. Have I seen your Insta? No, I haven't. Go ahead and post a link to your Instagram in the chat there, and I can check it out. I have an Instagram chat, or Instagram, but I, not that I don't share it, but it's mainly just pictures of my cats, so probably not anything interesting for you guys. Because I post a lot of pictures of my cats because they are the best. So we are about halfway done with this keyboard now. How exciting is that? I'm so ready to type it. Oh, sorry, Disco. Didn't realize you couldn't do it. Oh, yeah, Mange can do it. Cool. As soon as I'm done clipping these leads here, I'll go ahead and check that out. Just want to get this done. We're getting there. Getting there. Almost done. Woo! There one flying. Yeah, this guy is always really hard to clip right here. He's right next to like 2 diodes and 2 capacitors. Or sorry, 2 resistors. And so clipping that guy is a real pain. Soldering is a plain pain too. But alright, there we go. LEDs all ready to go. Let's take a look at this. What do we got? Oh, very nice. Yeah, that's really good, man. I like that blue one a lot. That's fantastic. Oh, yeah, it's making me log in. I can't actually log in right now. Cool. Yes, I have seen that stuff. The space bar. That is pretty cool. I actually thought about doing something like that, encapsulated stuff for my space bars, but again, I'm not really using, I don't use full-size space bars anymore. And so, kind of pointless for me. Then again, you know, if I'm selling them, then it's not pointless, but I have not decided to sell anything yet. So, maybe someday. Alright, let's get this placed. Let's get these guys in there. Oh, looks like we have a couple switches that are... Yeah, there. Looks like a couple of these LEDs are blocking my switches from going in. So which ones are which ones are the culprits? It's hard to tell. Shoot. Oh. Well, maybe not. Maybe I can get them in there. Yep. Looks like they all got in. Yeah, looks like all of them got in now. And a couple that are fitting a little bit weird, but yeah, I think if I had to do this again, maybe I wouldn't go with LEDs. They are definitely not fitting 100% properly. Yeah, the LEDs, they just sit a little weird. I don't think it's going to be a huge problem though. All the switch legs are still coming through the into the PCB, so we're still good there. So that's fine. Now let's plug it in and see what it looks like. Top row cherry profile blanks, which is what I got. Yeah, top row. That top row one is one that I already have kind of like planned for that. So. Something's wrong here. None of my LEDs are turning on. Or maybe they are, they're just too dark. Nope. Well, LEDs aren't turning on, but it could just be because maybe the switch got triggered. I don't have an easy way of fixing that at the moment. I suppose I could just... Nope. Well, we will figure that mystery out. We can do that by, I believe this switch, this one here is the LED switch. So let's solder that guy, see if that's the problem. Let's do this one. Hey, Chokan! You didn't miss anything. You're basically just in time. I'm about to start doing. I'm about to start soldering the switches in. I was putting in LEDs this whole time and soldering those, and it took some time. So, hey, the LEDs are. Whoa, those are actually bright. Nice. If y'all want to see how bright they are, turn off some lights here. So these are the, so those are the UV switch, or the UV LEDs. They're not super bright, but they are cool. It definitely gives a good glow. I think in a standard typing or environment, you probably wouldn't notice them, because when you have standard light, I mean, they're pretty dim. Viewing them straight on, you can see them, but you know, just like normal typing, you wouldn't see them very much at all. But that, you know, that is okay. We can deal with that. All right, so I think we are just about ready. Oh, I noticed a problem. One of these switches is off kilter because it's like that LED was popping it out of socket. Alright, so I just got to do a quick once over, make sure all the LEDs or all the keys are well placed. I don't have any issues with they're not popping out anywhere. I think we are good. They all look pretty well lined up. Just making sure that they're all clicked in. I don't have any guys straggling, sitting off to a corner. Alright, I think we're good. Okay, so we're going to take maybe like a 5-minute break. I need to use the restroom real quick, and then I'll be back. So stay right where you are. I'll be right back. I'm going to turn these off. Okay, so hopefully no one took off while I was using the boys' room. Alright, so for all of you here, we are now just about to start soldering the switches in place. We've already done the LEDs. We are using UV LEDs. This is the Preonic PCB Rev 2. We are using the Easy on the Wallet Preonic build from olkb.com. Here's our top plate PCB. This really stylish back plate that is designed by, I'm not sure who designed this one. I thought it was marked on the plate, but apparently it is not. I'm actually hoping that I can submit my own design to OLKB. That would be really cool to have a design of my own on one of these boards. I'm not sure what his criteria are, what he goes for when he decides who gets to design a plate or not, but I have a feeling that maybe a few people who are on the stream right now would love to have one of my art designs on one of these boards. So we'll see. We'll see. It'd be nice. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started soldering these switches now. We've already soldered the LEDs in place, so they're looking good. I'm just going to get this into a better spot here so you guys can see a little better. We don't need this anymore. Ugh. Trying to find a good spot for this camera to look at, but that's better. I think that's good. So, Chokan, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. But I see that it's what, like 7:30 in Japan right now? That is something else. You got up early. Watch this stream. I definitely appreciate all of you who are here. I'm like Pete. I don't have a business. I don't make money off of this. You know, I just do this for fun, and it's just nice having other people kind of in the room, as it were, while I'm doing my little hobby. 'Cause I really enjoy making keyboards a lot. Not that Pete doesn't, but you know. Oh, gotta get some food eventually. I have this homemade kimchi that I make ramen, kimchi ramen with, and man, it is good, but I ran out of protein to put in it. I don't have any chicken or anything to put in it now, so it'll just be plain kimchi and noodles. Sounds kind of boring to me today. I kind of want something more solid. We're just zooming through these. All right, I have to move the fan just a little bit, so I apologize if the fan gets a little loud, but I'm having some issues here with the fan not really blowing the smoke away. All right, this camera's driving me nuts. Keeps wanting to fall over. Hopefully that's a little more stable now. And it just will not focus. It keeps trying to focus on my shirt. Maybe I'll take my shirt off. You guys talking about taking over my stream. So many Swedes! All the Swedes. So actually, one of my favorite musical artists is actually from Sweden. His name is Jens Lekman, and I love Jens Lekman. I love soldering switches. It takes no time at all compared to soldering LEDs. It's so much faster. Man. So this camera just will not focus. It's really annoying. I was hoping that you guys would get a good view of the board being soldered, but it just won't. Hey, that. Maybe now it'll decide that it wants to focus on what we're looking at. Yeah, unfortunately, with this particular camera, there's no way to tell it to like focus directly on what I'm doing. I'll tell you what, we'll go to main view. Now you guys can like kind of look from overhead, so it won't look so bad. Okay. Back to it. So for the few of you who weren't here when we first started doing the setup and the stream, we are doing these with UV LEDs, and these are box navy switches. So these are the really heavy click, the thick click click bar switches from Kaiwa. All right, first row soldered in. I gotta put something down to keep the board keeps sliding around while I'm trying to solder, so that should help a little bit. Is it because, so Disco, or sorry, Seth, is it because of the white background? No, actually, this camera, it's set to autofocus. Unfortunately, OBS on the Mac doesn't have, the Logitech doesn't expose its camera controls to OBS. So you have to download like a separate program and then change the settings on it from there. But I was reading about Logitech's setup stuff, and you can only set the configuration for one camera at a time. And actually, you've probably seen Pete have the same issue on his stream, where one of the cameras goes out of focus or does something weird, and he has to like unplug a camera and change a few things, and there's just not much you can really do about it. When you have more than one camera, especially if it's more than one Logitech camera, there's not much you can do. So I'm kind of stuck with it, because the overhead cam that you're looking at right now, that one is a Logitech camera as well. And so I would have to disconnect one, change the focus, connect it back up again. It's like a whole deal. It's a whole mess to do. Trying to keep my head out of the way of the overhead cam. It's not easy. You guys can see what I'm doing. And you know, my stream is not in 4K, so it's not like Pete. This ridiculous setup. What's great about Pete's stream, though, is he lives in New York and he's got that fiber connection. Man, that thing is like, I envy that so much. think my upload is only, I think I have 10 megabit up. So that could also be a reason why. I know a few of you were talking about how the stream isn't super high quality. And there's a couple reasons why. One, I'm streaming via Wi-Fi from my garage. I do have a really high quality signal Wi-Fi wise, but it's still Wi-Fi. And my max upload is only 10 megabit. And actually, it might even be lower than that. I think it might be 6 or 7. So, you know, I can only upload it at a lower end, like lower quality. Whereas Pete, he can, you know, his uploads are much higher. I think he uploads at 20 or higher, because with a 4K stream, you pretty much have to do 20 or higher. And his is not only 4K, it's also like multiple 4K cameras. So he has to have a beefy machine, and he has to have good internet. My computer is my laptop here is struggling to even just have, my laptop right now is struggling just to have these 3 cameras I have connected. And actually, you can't see it, but there's a Canon. I have a DSLR over in the corner here that I also used, but unfortunately, the DSLR picture looks fabulous. It looks really good. But the problem with it is that it turns off after 30 minutes. So I have to change a few things about it to get that to work. All right, we got 3 more rows of switches to go. Three more rows and we will be done, and then we can start testing it out, and then we'll put some keycaps on it. I haven't decided what keycaps I'm going to use. I'm thinking it's going to be those. I think it's going to be those Max Key Miami, though. I also have the Devlin Aurora set, which actually, you know, let's do Devlin Aurora. It looks fantastic, and it feels amazing to type on. So we'll use Devlin Aurora. I have a lot more keycap sets coming in. The next set, you know, I just got the MT3 I got the MT3 set recently. That's the Dev TTY through Massdrop. That's what's on my Preonic right now. The next set to come in on schedule is XDA Godspeed. I got a set of XDA Godspeed coming in. And then shortly after XDA Godspeed, like a week later or 2 weeks later, is SA Carbon. I have SA Carbon coming in. And then after SA Carbon, I believe I have XDA 8-bit coming in. And then after XDA 8-bit, what's after that? I think it's SDA 8-bit, and I think it's, DSA Legacy. Or, no, not DSA Legacy. One of Mito's. It's not the laser, it's the other one. I want to say it's not DSA Legacy, because that's the one that's like Tron themed. Anybody remember what that one is called? Anybody remember what his Mito's other set is that's not laser? But its theme is very similar to laser. It's got like the blacks, the blues, some like bright pinks and stuff. I got quite a few of those coming in. Oh, no, Disco Frog, that's Godspeed, right? I have that coming in. That's XDA Godspeed. There's another one that he did, though. It was DSA. And maybe it was Lightspeed. It was like black and blue and pink. I can never remember the name of it. And then after that's laser. And I'm really, really looking forward to laser. GMK laser just looks... I mean, that's my dream set right there. Light cycle. Oh, so I'm actually... So it is DSA Legacy. Because light cycle is the one that's blue and black. And it looks great. Legacy is the one that's very similar to light cycle. It's black and blue and also has pink. And I think I have 3 full sets of DSA Legacy. I'm going to have so many keycaps this year, you guys. And not enough keyboards to put them on. And actually, I'm probably going to give away SA... Or not give away, but sell SA Carbon. Like, as soon as it comes in. I bought it when I was... I don't know. I was kind of thinking that I wanted to use it because it... So many people were like gushing about it. I didn't have an SA set yet. And then everybody was like, oh my god, DSA or SA Carbon is the greatest thing ever. And I really kind of looked at the pictures of people's other carbon sets and like, just the color scheme is just not my thing. That kind of bone white, just, I don't know. I mean, it looks classy and all, but I'm what do you want to call it? I tend to be a bombastic person. So, I like bright colors. I like loud schemes, you know, like the really clashing color schemes and stuff. Like SA Miami is just is fabulous to me. I mean, look, I got this like orange watch band, and you can kind of see it, or you know, like it's framed in orange, and then, you know, my phone is like hot pink. You know, I really like those super bright colors. It's just kind of my style. So, that's my way. But, so, some of you who were here earlier, you may, you already know this, but my one giveaway finished. That keyboard is going out to a gentleman in, I believe, oh no, sorry, he's from Tennessee. I think his mailing address is in Tennessee. So that is going to this guy in Tennessee. It hasn't mailed out yet, but it will soon. And then I will have another giveaway coming up for my GH60 Satan keyboard with a hand-dyed keycaps and a hand-painted backplate. And I will be showing that again here in a minute, just so you can see what it looks like. For that particular giveaway, I'm trying to decide how I want to do it, because that one's a very special keyboard, and I feel like that one needs to be a very special giveaway. Just because it's so different, it's so special. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I might actually make that it might end up being a raffle prize at the Seattle meetup later this summer, just because it's so incredibly special. I don't want to just do it through Reddit or something. Because it's a very unique board, you know? And I had people tell me, like, don't give it away, you shouldn't give it away, it's a special board, but I'm never going to type on it. I want someone to use it. You know, it should be given to someone who's actually going to use it. And one of them, it could be you. It could be you. All right, almost done. One last row. And then flashing this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to flash this. I'll probably keep it default for now, just because QMK on my laptop here, it is set up for it, but I don't believe I have the most recent. I haven't pulled from the repository recently, so I'm not sure if it has the Rev2 PCB file in it. And they kind of changed the way they do their flashing for the different revs, and I haven't tried flashing any of those revs yet. So like there's like Planck Rev 2, you have to specify specifically what revision you're using, and I have not tried that. My Planck is flashed from the stock original Planck layout. Steph, yes, I have decided what caps I'm going to put on it. I just decided that I'm going to put on the Devlin Aurora set. So they're like super thick, uniform profile keycaps. And I think that they are gorgeous. They're a little bit weird to type on just because they're a uniform set. And they're very high profile. And they're very flat. So they're a little weird to type on. But you get used to it. I mean, by far, so far, my absolute favorite set has got to be that Mateo MT3 Dev TTY. Like, it is a treat, an absolute treat typing on those caps. The sculpting on them is very, very comfortable. If you guys don't have a set of them, keep your eyes open, because I do believe... So Massdrop owns the molds for them, and I think what they're planning on doing is they're going to open it up kind of like Signature Plastics did, where people can submit their color profiles, and Massdrop will produce them in MT3. And keep your eyes open, because yours truly is going to try to submit a color profile for it. It'll be a super bright, gaudy profile or a design, so everybody's going to hate it. But I don't care. I won't win the contest to get it, but I'm still going to submit it. Alright, folks. Steph, when was that group by? You're talking about for Devlin Aurora? Devlin Aurora finished... Finished a while ago, actually. I think Devlin Aurora was done... That was... I say October, I want to say. Somewhere around October when that group buy was done. It was a while ago. Well, all of our switches are soldered in. Listen to those clicks. Sounds fantastic. We are turning off the soldering iron. We are done with the soldering iron. Which means we can turn the fan off. That's right. Atari Zero Massdrop Rainbow. I would totally do that, Mange. I would totally do that. I love bright colors, so that is actually very close to something that I would probably end up doing. Yeah, I really like bright colors a lot. I'm not sure why this camera is not... whatever. Yeah, my little action cam. It's kind of weird. It decides randomly that it's gonna... See that, like, I don't know if you can see, there's like a weird color banding thing that happens on it. And it's just because the brightness sensor is kind of weird on it. Okay, well, all the switches are in. Now we can do a typing test real quick. I know usually you put the keycaps on beforehand, but I just want to make sure there's not anything messed up with it first. So let's bring up good old typing test. Or what is it? Keyboard tester. All right, here we go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Backspace. Tab. Delete. Nice. Escape. Yep. ASD. FG. JKL. Nice. This one's a little different from me. This is not my layout. Shift C, XCV, B, and N, comma, dot, period, and enter. So this one is, oh, this is LEDs, but it also registers as shift for some reason. Control, Alt, Windows, which we don't have, we're not using that. That is raise, so I'm not sure we can do like percentage. Cool. Spacebar. 5. Left, down, up, right. All right, folks. 100% functional. Every single key. We are good. Awesome. And I can tell you that it feels fantastic to type on it. Oh, feels so good. All right, so there's that. Now, let's go ahead and put the back plate on, so might as well. We know all the switches work. All the LEDs are functional. So now, let's get these guys off of here. And let's not stab my hand like I did last time. So my next plan, I'm actually probably going to move this studio, my keyboard design or keyboard building studio upstairs where there's better lighting. And then I think this studio down here is going to end up becoming my painting studio. In which case I'm going to get more lights and stuff. But the beauty of that is that I can set up a full-size PC upstairs compared to down here where I have to use a laptop. Which means that I can get better lights, better airflow, it'll be warmer up there, and then it'll just be nicer overall. And then this one, I'll still do stuff with, my resin casting has to stay down here because my keyboard, or my upstairs studio is carpeted. Can't do resin casting in carpet. That would be a total mistake. Oh yeah, GMK Red Samurai. Yeah, it looks great. Yeah, I think that's a very pretty. I think they did a really good job choosing the colors on it. I think it feels maybe the colors maybe are a little bit too dark for my tastes. I think it feels like maybe the legends are a little bit harder to read because of how dark everything is. But I mean, it turned out beautiful. Oh, those thick clicks, they feel so great. This might end up becoming my favorite board. And I'll actually be able to use my 2-unit space bar, which I have not been able to do. Quite a few of them. You know, I changed my mind. We're not going to use Devlin. We're not going to use the Devlin Aurora set. I am going to put my Miami set back on this because Miami, I love that set. I love the colors, and I really want to type on SA again. I love SA Profile. I know that it's not everybody's favorite, but for me personally, I think it's a really great set. Looks like these little standoffs, looks like you only get enough for the outside edge. Doesn't look like it comes with enough to cover the entire board. That's kind of weird. Yeah, there's like a couple more spots here in the middle for more of these little standoffs, but... Oh, well, maybe not. Maybe it does have enough. There's only a couple holes. So I wonder what those other ones are for. Oh, I think these holes in here are for the case mounting ones, and this isn't a case, so it doesn't come with them, which makes sense. Now, thick clicks. That is right. They are truly thick clicks. And they feel great. I am impressed with the quality. And for some reason, these are not screwing in. What's going on? Oh, they're... Yeah, okay. That is going to be a pain. So they're not screwing in because so these little standoffs, they are... It's just this like little bit of plastic, right? And it's not like they're stable. Like they're not like static, right? So you can see they kind of rotate a bit, and so that screw is just making the stabilizer or the standoffs just rotate in place, and so it won't clip in. That could be a problem. I can just keep it from moving so I can screw it in. Not the most pretty solution to make it work, but it worked. You would not switch Stottles for thick clicks. Really? Huh. Why is that? You really like Stottles, huh? I haven't tried clicking on them, so I don't really know what Stottles feel like. I mean, I've heard them. You know, anytime I've heard Steph click... I just dropped a screw. I've heard Steph use them on stream, and they do sound very clicky, but I don't know what they would feel like in person. As like I said, this is these thick clicks are the clickiest switch I've ever used. Yeah, see, this is doing the same thing. That guy is just rotating around in there. It will not stay in position. Not without some kind of encouragement. So I hate to tell you, Jack, but you might want to rethink the way you're doing these standoffs, because they are not behaving. You say that they feel a lot like the tactility of tactile apps with a click of white apps. Are you talking about blue apps, or are you talking about Stottles. I've never typed on Blue Alps, and so, like, you know, I've heard that those are the most satisfying of clicky switches, but the fact that they are so incredibly hard to get a hold of, you know, makes it a bit difficult for someone like me, who doesn't really feel like taking the time of sourcing them. Plus, you know, there's not really any keycaps for Alps either. No, it's Stottles, okay. Yeah, I think that these thick clicks, I mean, the fact that they use a standard, you know, they're using a standard stem type, so you can put MX, you know, caps on them. I mean, that's like their, it's going to be, you know, important for them to have that. Dane Carter says, I love my click modded cream Alps. Yeah, I mean, I know I've used Alps at some point. I used Alps, let's see, when I was a kid, right? Because the original Apple keyboards that I used when I was a kid, those were all Alps switches. So I know I've used Alps. I just don't remember, you know, much about them. I did use an Alps board at the last Seattle meetup. And to be honest, those Alps switches felt like crap. They were like just mush. It was just like typing on, how did they feel? Because I think that the switches weren't cleaned, I think was the problem. Because they felt very like gummy. Like I think maybe the lube that was in them was not very good, or was old, and so it turned into basically gel. And so it was like extremely mushy and just ugh. Yeah, I think that the board that I was typing on was the you know, original, what do you want to call it, the board that the M0110 are. I'm not sure what the M0110 is modeled after. But that's what the board, it was definitely that board. It had that kind of thick bezel. And these guys do not want to stay still. SKCC Alps. And what is that? Mange, what's SKCC Alps? I mean, because it was gross. It was like typing on, like, it's like someone stuck, like, gummy candy inside the keyboard and you were just typing on top of gummy candy. They were gross. They're the worst. But the guy was like, yeah, that's the way they are. And I said, okay, good. Well, I'll never buy that keyboard then. Tall slider, linear Alps. Guys, I mean, listen to those clicks. Oh, sounds so great. My coworkers are going to kill me. I really wish I had enough ortho keys to be able to use my other spare set of that Dev TTY set that I have. I did not buy any. I only bought one set of orthos. So those are going to have to sit in my collection until I decide what to do with them. Mange says, what's that link? That Desk Authority link took me nowhere. I don't know why. ASMR, huh? Like I said, we're not going to flash this board today just because I have to fix my QMK setup. It's not installed. I don't have the Rev 2 code on here. I have to get onto GitHub or get that updated. I don't want to try doing that right now, not on stream anyway. Yeah, I wonder what's going on. Wonder what's up with that. Like, it just keeps breaking links. It could be something. It might be the way that my settings on YouTube for my stream are set up too. Just because I don't, I haven't really messed with it much. This is only like the third time I've ever streamed on YouTube, so it's possible that my settings are messed up. I would not be surprised. We are almost done. Almost got these all in. But, oh man. Guys, this feels so good. And the board, this is a really well-crafted board too. It feels very solid. It feels just as solid as a standard board, even though it's PCB material. And it's cheap. I think this whole board, switches and everything, excluding keycaps, is probably like $100. So not bad for an ortho build. And it's really light. I just dropped another screw. And it went out of sight. Oh, nope, there it is. There we go. SKC series, formerly known as Alps Vintage T-Mount, is a forerunner of the Alps SKCL, SKCM series, and shares the same switch plate design. Huh. And Dr. Doom Apple says he had the same thing happen on Pete's stream. Yeah, so maybe it's something to do with YouTube. Maybe they've changed something. Alright, so this is the last screw. Alright, everything's screwed in. And I got an extra screw and an extra standoff. There we go. So here it is, folks. Listen to those clicks. So loud. So gorgeous. And now we compare it to these. These are the, so let's say box navy. Yeah, let's get that on. I'll put this on this paper towel so you can kind of. And now compared to these, which are the pale, these are the box pale blue. Box navy. I mean, the box pale blue feel great. All right, well, let's pull these guys off here. Let's see, I am using, since this is going to be very similar, I believe this one's 14 rows, so, or sorry, 14 columns. This is only 12, so we're going to pull most of these off. And I gotta flash this guy eventually. So normally, so you guys, this is the so this is what a Devlin K series, or this is what the Devlin series looks like. Here, I'll show you up in this one. It's a little better. So this is what the Aurora series looks like if you make it out of resin. So these are the ones that were on sale on Mass Drop a while ago. So he molded these after the Devlin series. And you can kind of see, like, very thick. So that's the next ones I'm going to work on. I was making those Devlin ones. I just haven't had time to make molds of them yet, but soon. Probably have that done a couple months. Oh no. Looks like somehow this cap got scratched really bad too. Huh. Oh well. Oops, wrong cap. That goes here. There you go. And then I need a 2-unit space bar, but I don't have any of those right now down here. Those are upstairs. So I'll get one of those later. Resi says those are kind of cool. Yeah, they're nice. And I actually have the, I have some upstairs. My actual Devlin set that I bought. And I was going to put it on this board, but I really missed typing on this Miami set. This set was great. Before I got that Devlin, or before I got this, whatever you call it, the Dev TTY. Before I got Dev TTY, this was my favorite set. I have probably 4 different sets of DSA. I don't own any GMK. I actually bought GMK Yuri, and I had it, but I didn't at the time when I bought Yuri, I didn't realize that I loved ortho, and so I didn't buy any ortho kits for it, and so the base kit does not work with ortho, and so I had to make an executive decision and decided to not keep it. So I sold it for just a little bit over what I bought it, like just enough to cover shipping basically. It looks great though. I wish that I had bought the ortho set because GMK Yuri looks fantastic. Great color scheme. The pale blue like alphas with that the orange legend, it's great. Does anybody else have it? What's your favorite sets? Tell me what your favorite sets are. Kind of curious. I know Mange is all about ski data. Love ski data. But who else? Chokan, I prefer regular ortho. This split one was just kind of an experiment for me, and I tried it out, and honestly, I just didn't like it. So it is going back in the back in my collection. Resi says favorite is GMK Hyperfuse. I have seen pictures of GMK Hyperfuse. That's the one that's is like purple, I believe. My favorites, well, I haven't typed on it yet, but the favorite looking one is definitely going to be GMK Laser. I am so incredibly ready for GMK Laser, you guys. I don't even know. SA Pulse, yeah, that's a set that I wanted. That's the one that Pete uses, and I envy it. And if I could, I would beat him up and take it. Because I think that set looks great. But that's what DSA Legacy looks very similar to SA Pulse. And I actually was chatting via email with, I can't even think of his name now, with Mito. And he says that he wants to redo SA Pulse. So that'd be cool. Yeah, I'm all about Vaporwave, man. I am, 100%. Call me meme, I don't care. I just gotta get a two unit cap here, but... Oh. Holy crap, guys. The tactility with this SA on here is out of this world. Oh my gosh, it is so clicky. Typing on a bare switch compared to typing on the keycaps, like I can't even explain how tactile these are. This is so incredible. Oh my gosh. This feels so good. This is great. Oh. They're definitely a little heavier. Definitely they feel heavier than my Zeals. I have 65 gram Zeals. These feel heavier. I would say that these feel like maybe a 70, equivalent to a 78 gram Zeal. Oh, wow. Yes, yes. This is perfect. Okay. I don't know. This Preonic, this is my baby. This is my baby. This was like the first ortho that I typed on, and I fell in love with it. But now, this is out of this world. That is out of this world. Yeah. I'm so excited. I feel like a little kid. I'm like, I just don't want to stop typing on it. This might become my permanent board. This might be the one I use from now on. But, I mean, like, sound-wise, this is so much quieter. And then you got this loud beast. Wow. All right, well, let's put some standoff, or put some feet on this. Get those on there. And then I'm not going to flash this one. I think I'm just going to let it... Not going to flash this one until later. Choka, is it really going into an office? Well, it's going with me on this business trip that I'm going on very soon. I'm leaving next Friday to the Midwest. I'm going to Ohio, and then I'm going to Illinois on business, and it's coming with me for that. And then I probably won't take this into my actual office. I'll probably take my current Preonic. I'll take this one to my office, because right now I have an XD75RE in the office that I use, just because I have the middle three on the XD75, because it's 15, right? So the middle three are a numpad, and I use numpad somewhat frequently when programming. There it is. That is a quality build. I am absolutely impressed with this. I'm gonna send Jack Humbert an email here today and tell him that this is solid. I might even buy another one. I might buy another one just so I can put some different switches on it. I might put these guys. I might desolder this and put these guys on it. Because I mean, these feel good too. I mean, these are also really good. They're just a lot lighter. Oh, yes, these are great. All right, well, let's take a coffee break. Let's do a little coffee break. So, got my coffee here. So, Steph, the LEDs. Well, yeah, let's take a look. They're not super bright, just because the UV LEDs, I think, in general, just aren't very bright. But at full brightness, you can't really even tell that they're on. I mean, here, let's turn this overhead light off. So you can kind of see here at full brightness. I mean, it's barely noticeable. See? Which is kind of weird. Definitely not what I expected. But I guess, that also has to do with the fact that with these particular, the box switches, you can't put the LEDs on top of the switch like you normally do with LEDs, where they kind of plug into that. So, for some of you who don't know what that means or don't know what that looks like, I will show you with a couple of different switches. So, normal, this is a standard Zelio 70 or 65 gram Zelios, and you can see here the LED goes in that top spot there. I'm trying to find a good angle there. So it kind of goes right in front of the slider, so in that flat spot that's right there, and that's where it goes. But on a box switch, there's no such thing. There's nowhere to put it because it's right there. It would normally be right there. But on a box switch, the bottom is open. And so the LED goes under it entirely. And a 2x3x4 LED, which is the normal ones I normally use, would get in the way of the click bar that's in there. So if you can, let me see if you can see it in action here. You can see that click bar. So if you used a standard LED, it would get in the way of that click bar, and you wouldn't be able to click. It wouldn't click at all. It would just run into it. You'd still get the tactility. It wouldn't stop the switch from working. So it's definitely a different setup. With those dimmer LEDs on a standard switch, on a standard like a Zelio switch, it'd probably be fine. But on something like this, it's not going to look right. Or sorry, they don't look right because they sit under the switch, and so if they're not very bright to begin with, They will make the switch maybe glow a little bit, the housing glow a little bit, but they're not very bright, which is fine. I don't use LEDs that often. I have them in this guy here. I have magenta LEDs in this one. And I'll show you what that looks like. This is what standard brightness on so this is fully bright. You can see, you can see the glow inside the switches themselves, like inside the keycaps there. And I actually modified, this is a modified Zelio switch. I actually put the 2x3x4 LEDs inside the housing and had to modify the housing to do that. And you can see like how much brighter that is. And like, that's full brightness, low, standard, full. And so it's so much brighter than those ones, but that's okay. I'm definitely not upset. It's just not as bright as I thought it would be. And I definitely don't have any plans on desoldering them. However, I did discover, happily, that I was smart enough to buy 120 box Navy switches when I did buy them, so I have another 60 switches to go through, so I got 60 more, and it only takes 60 to make a Preonic. So I can solder into the Preonic if I wanted to, or even, I can desolder on this guy, desolder these Zelios on here, and just put on, put on some of those box navies on here, which I might end up doing. That actually sounds like a really nice plan for me. I'd have to desolder all the LEDs and all the switches, but to be honest, with the switch, the way these switch housings are modified to fit those LEDs in there, it wasn't really a good idea to do it the way I did it, and it kind of ruined them. So I don't know. It kind of ruined the housings, and they're funky. The case doesn't, or the switch housing doesn't close on some of them entirely, and so they look like crap. And I don't know. It was a weird decision to go with. I did it. It was a mistake. Oh well, live with it. Chokan says more Preonics. Yes, more Preonics. My favorite board. And now, this is my favorite board. Look how pretty that is. Look at that. That sculpted beauty. And then, can't get past that click. It's so good. Feels great. Feels great, man. That JPEG. Alright, so, what's our next thing? What are we doing? My body is telling me that I need to go eat. But, I would have to go out. I'd have to go out to get some food. I'm not sure if I want to go out and get any food right now. Because then I would have to stop the stream. And having too much fun. What would you guys want me to do? My thought was I was going to desolder this guy. And I was going to desolder this plank and put some probably some Zelios switches in here. I was thinking maybe Zelios, probably 67 grams or 65 grams. Resi says, I can get food delivered. I could get food delivered. There's only a few places in Bellingham. I live in Washington State, in Bellingham, Washington. There's not a ton of places that deliver. There's pizza, but I had pizza like 2 days ago. And I love pizza, but my body does not love pizza. Yeah, Resi says pizza. Of course pizza. But I try to stay very fit, and can't really stay fit with pizza. Let's see, Chinese food. So there is a Chinese place in town that delivers, but their food isn't very good. It's kind of like subpar. And well, I live in the studio, or I'm working in a studio, so if I get something delivered, I'd have to like go out. I'd have to like listen for the door, which might be a problem because in the garage I can't really hear anyone knocking. Keto pizza. What is keto pizza? I'm guessing that that's like something specific. I mean, I can always just make my ramen and bring it in here and eat it on stream. I feel like that'd be kind of rude, though. Actually, let's see. How many people are left on the stream? I don't think there's very many. Well, we got 11 people watching, looks like. $11 people watching. How many likes? That's 7 likes. We got 1 dislike. Oh no. It's not bad. 11 people watching. Oh, low carb pizza. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could do that. I try to go to the gym 2 times a week. So, you know, I maintain my health that way. But even so. So this is what the mass drop plank looks like. You can see here. Let's take a look at the. Let's go to Action Cam. So this is what the mass drop plank looks like inside there. And then the board itself. And at the time when I bought this, I bought them with Cherry MX Browns because I had no idea what tactile switches were like. So I was like, oh, I'll try these out. And I mean, they're not awful, but they're not great. I mean, I'm sure there's worse switches to type on. So I think we'll desolder these guys here. Yeah, it's getting till almost to 4 o'clock. I've been streaming for about 4 hours. Maybe I should take a break, and then maybe I'll do a stream again later. I'm not sure if anyone would still be deciding to be online. I think our Swedish folks are probably going to bed. Alexa, what time is it in Sweden?
The time in Sweden is 12:39 a.m. on Sunday.
Oh yeah, you guys are going to be asleep soon. So maybe I'll save this for another stream. Maybe we'll just close it up for the night. And I'll save this for another stream. We'll do one maybe. It had to be at a different time. Mange says, "I don't sleep, so count me up." You got to get some sleep eventually. I got to get food. That's the problem. I need to eat. I try to eat every 4 hours. So I gotta get at least something. Yeah, let me think of what I want to do. Because I do want to build this. I do want to do something cool with this one. I don't use it though, so it's just kind of something to do, right? Something to keep me occupied. Alright, well, tell you what. I'm going to go get food, and I'm going to do this in another stream. So I'm going to be gone for a couple of weeks, but maybe I'll do like a later stream, which would be like morning, I think, for you Swedish folk. I'm not sure. But maybe I'll do one in the middle of the week, maybe on Wednesday or Thursday. I can do another stream. And we'll desolder this one and put some better switches in it. And maybe I'll do some artwork too. Maybe I'll stream some artwork. Because I haven't done that in a while. And I do like, you know, painting and stuff and all that. So Chokan says, have a good trip. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I hope I do. It's actually, it could very well be a very good trip. We are doing, we're actually, like, I'm a software developer. We have a new software package coming out, and this is kind of a sales trip. they already have agreed that they want to use our software, but they haven't gotten a live demo of it yet. So we're going there for a live demo, and that live demo will hopefully be fruitful, and they will decide that they want our software for sure. And that would be nice, because that means that I will make some money off of it, and then I can buy more keyboards. Because, I mean, to be honest, this like Easy on the Wallet this Easy on the Wallet Preonic, I mean, it's a solid build, and the whole cost, I want to say the whole thing was like, you know, minus the keycaps, but you know, switches and everything was like $100 or a little bit less than $100. So like, that's really super affordable. But anyway, all right, so I'm gonna cut the stream, and we're gonna go back to. I'm gonna cut the stream, and later on in the week, I'll let everybody know when I'm gonna do it. But later on in the week, I'll do another stream. We'll desolder that plank, put in some Zelios switches, and then maybe do something else. So real quick here, what is Steffi saying? I really want an ortho now. Yeah, you should. Easy on the Wallet plank, I think, is even cheaper than this one. So I think an Easy on the Wallet plank is, I think it's 70 total, 70 USD, which isn't bad if you have the money. If you don't have the money, I guess it's expensive. What programming language do I use? I program in C# and some JavaScript, jQuery, mostly in C#. I've also done Visual Basic. I don't like Visual Basic at all. I know some Python, but not much. I don't know Java. I'm actually a pretty junior developer, but I do. Chimp wants to hear. You want to hear those? I love it. They sound so good. Here, I'll get it closer to the microphone so you can really hear. I mean, it's like nothing else. They feel fantastic. They are so tactile. They are way more tactile than any other switch I've ever used. And the weight of them is really great too. It's definitely going to get getting used to, because of the fact that that tactile bump is very, very sharp. So it feels heavier, it feels like it's a heavier switch than it really is. Because I want to say the actuation weight on it is like 60 grams or something is what they say, or 65, but it feels heavier. It feels like a 78 gram switch, just from the fact that tactile bump is so sharp. Not bad. All right, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm really glad that all of you joined in and were active in the discussion. It's been really good. Keep tuned here, because I'm going to have another stream later on this week probably, and then I'll be gone for a couple weeks, and when I come back, we'll do another board build probably, and then soon, very, very soon, I will have my tutorials up for how to do resin casting. I'm going to have a couple different series of tutorials for those. One's going to be, the first one will be tools and materials. So I'm going to go over all the tools that you should order or should have on hand that are like necessary, plus ones that are kind of not so necessary. I'm going to have, that same one will be about like what cheap tools are, what the nicer tools are like. And then I'll do materials. So it'll be like what silicone, what resin, coloring, things like that. Cheap plus nicer, like what the differences between them are. And then I'll actually do a whole tutorial on how to do it from beginning to end. So like, how do you make a resin mold? How do you make a two-part resin mold? Maybe even how to use this guy, which is the synth. This is actually the synth 2.0, but how to use this. I don't really like it that much, but some people really love them. And then I'll have a final tutorial on the actual resin, doing itself, like what the resins are like and what it's like to actually use them, and a good workflow from beginning to end. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'm really glad you guys were around here, and I will see you soon. All right, have a good day.